Hello, my friends, and welcome back to a new fight study. Today's fight I'm focusing on Leonard Dorin. I believe that's how you say his name. Uh, Raul Balbi, that's his opponent. I'm focusing, though, like I said, on Dorin. I'll point him out right now. He is this man right here. I believe he is Romanian. Nice double jab starting off the fight. Nice double jab. I've never seen Balbi fight before, but I've seen Dorin versus Paul Spadafora, and that's kind of the reason I chose this fight. Dorin applied very nice pressure against Spadafora, and I wanted to see him in action in a different fight. Nice right here. Him and Paul Spadafora, it was a very, very close, like 50-50 fight. I believe it ended in a draw too. Nice counter right there. Classic counter. Balbi with the right hook to the body, and then Dorin catching and shooting right away, boom, and following up with the right hand. So I really liked Dorin's pressure against Paul Spadafora, so I wanted to see him, like I said, in action, and we'll see what he does. We'll kind of let the first round play on a little bit. Nice double jab again, and then we'll see what happens as we go. So Dorin, a short fighter, hands up fighter, comes in, walks you down type guy, but uses his jab and counters. Even though he's applying pressure, he's not always punching first. Waits for a punch on the guard, and like you see there, comes back with the hook. Paul Spadafora was or is a southpaw, so I've only seen Dorin fight a southpaw. I want to see him fight a guy his stance. So Dorin's already thrown jabs, right hands, and hooks in the first round. A lot of double hooks also. Kind of fights like Canelo, or Canelo kind of fights like him. That's my first impression, really. Not the Canelo right now, the Canelo of a couple years ago, I think. Couple similarities with the hands up, walk you down, and then letting go of some hooks to the head and body. And the uppercut. Very short puncher, like right there, you just saw it again. He didn't need much room to start his punch or much room to throw his punch. Nice right hand right there. Boom. Very short punches. A lot of hooks he's thrown so far. So we'll keep an eye on that, what he does with the hook, if he changes it up. But he's throwing a lot to the head right now. That double jab again. Let's see him come in with that double jab. Moves his head off center pretty nice. He drops his right hand a little bit on the double jab. That could be an opening for his opponent, but we'll see. Nice double jab right there. Yeah, I believe he had a pretty good chin. So we shall see that too. Balbi, I haven't seen him fight before, but I guess. I wonder how tall these guys are. Maybe 5 foot something. Nice counter hook by Balbi also right there. Nice jabs. What happened? Headbutt? Oh, right there. Coming up. Yeah, that could be on purpose. I wouldn't doubt it. He has short arms for a boxer. Oh, these guys are exchanging in the first round. So a big part of pressure sometimes for a pressure fighter is the pressure they put on with their head. And then their opponent isn't only just facing their punches. They're like, do I want to stay on the inside and take these headbutts also, or what am I going to do? I knew this fight was going to be a hard one to study because of Doran's fighting style. He's not a boxer. Well, he kind of knows how to, like, he's not a, he's a pretty active pressure fighter, so he's going to throw a lot. So it's a lot of stopping, talking in this fight. But we'll see if we could pick up some things from him. He's not your average Bob Miller. He's not your average pressure fighter. He does do a lot of good things. And like I said, with Gotti versus Ward, a lot of pressure fighters don't use their jab for some reason. But the few that do actually get a lot out of their pressure, more than guys that just walk in without a double jab. Here we see another double hook. And Dorin, he doesn't put too much in every punch. I'm not sure if just naturally he doesn't have a lot of power, but he throws, if you see someone throwing a lot of double hooks, like they're more of arm hooks. He does rotate his body on the second one, so he kind of throws the first one. He doesn't really rotate, and then he rotates a little bit more on the second one, but they're two quick hooks. So if I see someone throw a lot of double quick hooks like that, usually they throw more volume than hard punches, but they could be setting up for something later on. But I think Dorin is more of a volume pressure fighter. Nice right there. So this is something really good that he did here. Moved his head after the hook. So I always credit the double end bag for being one of the best tools to learn how to move after you punch. So a lot of fighters, they punch and then they stay in the same spot and they get countered. So here Dorin, he throws his punches, bang, right uppercut, left hook, and then he slips off to the side right there, just in case his opponent threw something, or he might have just been taking a look. So I've talked about Alexis Arguello versus Jim Watt. Alexis Arguello would do this a lot. He would just slip somewhere and see how his opponent reacted in Jim Watt. But this is something else that you want to do, especially in close range. You want to throw your punches, bang, bang, slip to a side. You can come back with a hook. You can come back with a jab. From here, you could roll under and go back. You could step and then pivot out. You could do basically, you could come back with anything with the left hand. Basically, from here, you could even throw a quick right hand. But moving your head after punching definitely makes you a tougher target, and it gives you more options to come back with. We'll see if he does that constantly. And you see those right hands. So what I'm liking so far from Dorin is how he's taking punches on the guard and then countering right back. So he's going to take a left hook here on the guard, bang. And he already did one right before that one. So that's what I'm noticing so far from Dorin, is how he's taking punches on his guard right there and he comes back. And he's keeping the jab going through the middle. He's not really giving his opponent any rest. Nice quick hands right there. And this is what I mentioned about short punches or arm punches, is you could throw them really fast. You could score points with them. And they don't waste as much energy as if you're going to throw like 3 hard punches where you're twisting in every shot. This is a great example right here. Boom, boom, boom. Watch it again in full speed. And you just see his shoulders moving. Let's see that again. Boom. So short arm punches, a lot quicker, a lot less power, but they are better to throw in the first rounds. You're not wasting too much energy, you're just popping your shoulders basically. And I'm really liking how he's taking those punches on his guard from his opponent and coming back. Very nice. Nice short punches. Very dialed in. Nice. See right there, short punches move off to the side. Ooh, let's see that again. I don't know why. Sometimes I just have an intuition that the fight, I'll just click on a fight and I'll just have an intuition that it's gonna be a good fight. I feel like this is one of them. So I've never seen this before, but I'm really liking what Dorin's doing right now. Boom, boom, boom. He goes off to the side, comes back, bang. He's gonna roll under. Nice. And this is what rolling under looks in a real situation. You're not always going so low when you go under. He's just bending down enough and rolling just enough to get rid of that left hook from his opponent. It kind of like brushes his hair basically if you think that his opponent's hand is a hairbrush. He's not going so low like down here where a lot of beginners would go. In real fighting, all of your defense is very tight. Now, some other pro fighters, they do have big slips and big rolls under, and they kind of do big movements. But I like fighters that do small movements. You waste energy, you're spending less time not punching or not in position to punch. And it's a lot more frustrating to your opponent because they think, oh, I just had him. Nice, nice, nice. And then you roll under, so it's pretty nice. Right now he is squared up. Dorin is squared up right here. I'm not sure how that's going to affect him though, we'll see. Right there he didn't look too good when he was taking those punches in a squared position. Now he's a little bit more sideways. I'm talking about his feet. His upper body stays kind of squared throughout the whole sequence right here. But his feet, he sometimes puts the right foot in the back or sometimes brings it forward like right here. And he's almost southpaw right here, so he's not too worried about being squared up. He has really short arms. I'm really liking how he's using those double right hands. Boom, boom. Let's see what he does right here. Right hand. Very nice. Oh, is that a pivot? Let's see that again. Nice little pivot. I wonder how much he was paid to write that goldenpalace.com on his back. Not a big fan of fighters that do that. I don't know. I don't like fighters that are walking billboards, but I guess maybe he got a lot of money for that. So he squared up right here. Sorry guys for the ringtone. Oh, that was a nice uppercut by Balbi. Yeah, Balbi. Nice left uppercut. So this is the bad thing about being squared up is this middle part of you is very open. If he's a little bit more sideways, that left uppercut doesn't land as easy. His opponent kind of has to lean over to the left and kind of angle his uppercut a little bit more. But when you're kind of in this position, the left, especially the right uppercut, becomes very easy to get through the guard. Boom. So kind of the downside of being in a squared position, there he gets hit with it again. Again, let's see this. So he's moving in. Uppercut. His opponent looks like a pretty smart fighter because he found the uppercut only in the second round. Boom. Again, left uppercut. And again, left uppercut that kind of glanced him. What's the guy's name? Gil Glancy, I think. The boxing trainer and commentator. He would also always say that was a glancing blow. So that was a glancing blow. So a lot of fighters, they forget about the uppercut. Maybe they pick it up later or remember it later in the end of the fight or later on in the fight. But for Balbi to see these openings in the second round, especially when he's under pressure, it's letting me know that he's thinking and he's looking at the openings. He's not just overwhelmed by the pressure. So right here again, we see Dorin square up, or Dorin maybe is how you pronounce his name. So he squared up right here. You could see his feet and his torso. They're level. And then bang, bang, and then that one just missed. Let's watch this for one more time, and I'll play at regular speed. Nice uppercuts right there. So I'm really liking how his opponent is reacting to the pressure. He's not folding, but he's finding the right openings. Very nice work. But Dorin doesn't seem that much affected by those punches landed. There he's working. Using the elbow a little bit to push off right there. Ooh, these guys are mixing it up. I knew it. I knew this was going to be a good fight. Let's see if it stays like that. Who are these guys? NFL. I don't know much. Is that Wayne Gretzky in the middle? I don't know. Sorry, guys. I don't want to be. I'm not sure if it is. Balbi 26, Dorin 58. So a lot of output in 2 rounds by Dorin. I believe he did cut around the eyes against Paul Spadafora. Yeah, he did. He was bloody at the end. I think both fighters cut. There's that double left hook again. And like I mentioned, he's not putting too much power into his hooks. He just pop, pop, just getting the opening, but he's not really taking his time to throw the power. When you throw double left hooks with power, the opponent isn't going to be there for that long. So you could see right here, he throws his first one, and his opponent stays in there to kind of trade with him. But when you throw too hard, in boxing, the opening is there for a split second most of the time. And especially in the beginning of the fight when both fighters are fresh, mostly people aren't going to stay in front of you. So you do want to throw more arm punches to kind of land on the target. And then as you start landing more, then you could start taking more time to throw your power once your opponent kind of slows down, both with their feet and their reaction. But I'm really liking how Dorin's working with quick punches, and he's not wasting time by trying to throw power. That's something that you could pick up from this fight so far. Against Paul Spadafora, I think he kept throwing arm punches the whole fight. So he's not a knockout artist, but like you saw right there, very volume oriented. Sorry for the ambulance in the background. We'll say a quick prayer in our heads for them, if you could hear them. Nice, ooh, nice output by Balbi. Nice step off to this. Ooh, that was nice. That was a nice little opening right there that he found. So from here, he's gonna step over. That was very nice. Let's watch the feet of Dorin. So here his opponent is now pushing on him. And he steps around him. Now, when do you want to pivot? When do you want to step around your opponent? There's 2 times to really do this. When your opponent is attacking or when after you throw punches. But one of the best times actually, when it's the easiest time to pivot, is when your opponent and when you and your opponent are in close range, shoulder to shoulder, head to head, toe to toe, and your opponent is trying to push you back with their body, like you see right here, his opponent head down and he's kind of stepping forward. Now this is one of the best times to step around your opponent. I'll give you a couple reasons why. First of all, you're using your opponent's momentum against them. So imagine like you're leaning on a door and then someone opens that door, you're gonna fall through. So basically right about here, imagine Dorin as a door, and his opponent is leaning on that door or trying to walk through that door, but the door is locked right here, okay? Now what Dorin is going to do, he's going to open that door and let his opponent fall forward, and then by doing that, his opponent's eyes are, I'm not sure if he could see what Dorin's doing, so his eyes are, or his chin is down, and Dorin's basically going to open that door and let his opponent kind of fall forward. So we'll watch this again frame by frame, and you could see how he steps around his opponent as his opponent ends up here. So from here, his opponent starts pushing, bang. So this is something that my coach taught me, when was this? A lot of years back. Because usually when someone pushes against you, especially in close range, a lot of fighters, what they do is they try to push back, because a lot of fighters don't want to do what their opponent is trying to do. They want to prevent them from doing that, or they're just hard-headed. And when someone pushes on someone, the other fighter usually wants to push back and kind of like, you're not going to push me back. But one of the best things you can do when someone's trying to push you and you guys are in close range is either step back, like walk back with them and kind of throw uppercuts as you're walking back, or you could step around them. So right here, step around him and then bang. He's going to throw a couple, bang. He doesn't get the best punches in, but the idea is there. Let's watch this in full speed again. And there you have it. So that's a very nice touch from a pressure fighter, is knowing when to kind of step around or step back. Here he does it again. So see? So this, his opponent kind of steps forward here, but Dorin is also punching. And then he kind of steps around him and gets a new angle as his opponent steps forward again. We'll keep an eye out if we see him do that again. I made a video about Robert Garcia, the boxing trainer, when he fought, I think it was John Molina or someone, or Corrales, someone, but someone was leaning on him and he kind of did a similar step to the side and came back with a left uppercut right hand, or a right uppercut left hook. But it's the same idea. I call it opening the door, because someone's leaning on you and then you just open the door for them and let them fall through. Nice step to the side right there. So he's going to throw that overhand right. His opponent ducks down, and Dorin kind of steps to the side at the same time. Now this punch you see right here, especially before stepping to the side or pivoting, if you're going to pivot or step to the side off your punch, so right after you punch basically, you don't want to throw a very hard punch, but you want to throw kind of a, not an eye-catching punch. I don't know, it's more of an arm punch that you just kind of, you could do it with a lot of different punches. You don't have to throw the overhand right, of course. But I see Dorin kind of just wings it off. And then when his opponent ducks down and tries to move in right here, Dorin steps off to the side again, right there. And he gets that really nice angle and comes back with that double hook. He tried to do this in the first time I talked about this, but it didn't land as clean. But here he did. I'm really liking what I'm seeing from Dorin right now, or Dorin. I'm sorry if I'm butchering his name. That was a nice step around by his opponent, actually. Let's see. See, that's his opponent pivoting or circling off of his own punches. So his opponent's punching, bang, bang, and then he kind of moves off of that, and he gets a pretty nice angle right here. Bang. Pretty nice. I'm really liking how these guys are feeding off of each other and kind of using each other's movement against each other. It looks like a Oh, that was a nice right hand by Balbi. Looks like a slugging match kind of right here, but both guys are still pretty much thinking and finding openings and finding new angles, which is beautiful to see. This might feed into the boxing lesson I'm gonna do, which is the inside fighting that some people requested. So here we might get some ideas for that. This is not your typical inside fighting. Both guys are oh, that was a nice left uppercut. Both guys are kind of standing up tall, but they're still working very good on the inside. Nice. So there's different ways you could approach the inside game. You could stand tall with your guard like Dorin and kind of work off of that. Or some guys lean forward on their front leg and kind of work off of that. Let's see, Dorin's gonna step over here again. Body shot, steps over. Bang, bang. I'm really liking the angles from Dorin. His opponent, he has made some angles, but not as frequent as Dorin. This round was pretty close. Dorin threw more punches, landed a little bit more. Very close round. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch this fight, but I did skip to the end of the fight, to the decision, just to see who won. Sometimes I like seeing who won just to know. And it was a split decision, so pretty close fight. So I'm guessing their numbers are gonna be pretty close too. Now his opponent is keeping him a little bit at long range, but let's see if it could keep. Oh, that was nice. See that. So his opponent came out in the fourth round, right, let's see, right about here, somewhere here. He said, okay, I'm going to try to throw first, and I'm going to try to throw from longer range. Let's try to keep this guy away from me. Let's not let him get in and work on the inside. Let's keep our distance. Let me throw longer punches, a lot of them to kind of keep a zone right here where step into, but let's see what happens. So right here, see, longer punches, pushing him back, right there. Boom, nice left hook by Dorin. So we could kind of guess that he was going to do his type of countering, because in the first couple rounds he took a lot of, every time he took a punch on this guard, he basically came back with his own. So here his opponent is getting off pretty good, but he's taking it on the guard. Boom. Boom. Now, especially against a fighter like Dorin, the guys that put their guard up and kind of walk in and counter off of their guard, so they get hit on the guard and then they come back, you don't want to get, what's the word? There's a word I'm trying to look for. You don't want to get, damn it, I'm forgetting my word. Not complacent, but you don't want to get, damn it. Basically, you don't want to just keep throwing punches even though when they're landing or when your opponent isn't throwing back, because what they're doing is they're just timing you for a punch, basically, because they're waiting for the right punch to get on their guard and then they're going to come back. So we'll see it right here. His opponent, he's getting, damn it, what's the word? But he's throwing a lot of punches. Dorin isn't throwing, so his opponent's getting confident here. He's throwing a lot, bang, bang, bang. Boom, and the whole time Dorin was waiting for that punch. The word just escaped my mind. I'm sorry. But you could see his opponent threw about, I don't know, 20 punches or something without Dorin throwing back. But Dorin was saving up. So you don't want to throw this many punches in a row against a fighter like Dorin. You want to get some in, feint in the between, see if he's going to counter. Oh, that was hitting on the break, I think. I'm not sure. Oh, that was another nice left hook to the chin while he's holding his right hand. What's the opposite of someone being very generous? That's the word I'm looking for, but I can't. I forgot it. The opposite of generous. I hate when I forget words. Nice work on the inside. So Dorin is being a little bit of a dirty dog right here. He's kind of holding one hand at a time and throwing a punch with the other hand. This is boxing, though, professional boxing, I must say, and you got to do what you got to do. Till the ref tells you to stop, keep doing what you're doing. Nice left uppercut by Balbi. Pretty sure that's not how you say his name either, just maybe it has an accent to it. It looks like he could be from Mexico or Argentinian or something, I'm not sure. Raul Balbi. That was a nice right hand though when he was moving back right here. Oh, that was nice. Slipped off to the side. Bang. He already saw the right hand coming. Didn't throw much power on his own right hand. He just got out the way and threw that right hand out. Very nice right hand. Nice jab. And this is something else that I've talked about with close range. So you guys were asking me to do a video on the close range fighting. I would study this fight. Dorin right here. Close range. Doesn't go with the hook. Doesn't go with the uppercut. Doesn't go with the right hand. Just a simple jab. A short jab. And it's the least expected punch on the inside. Now, if you do this all the time, your opponent's going to know that you're going to jab on the inside and they could come back with something. But especially against someone throwing a left hook or just right here that's kind of setting up again. Bang. Oh, they both threw jabs on the inside. That's pretty good. Haven't seen that before. Usually it's just one guy throwing the short jab on the inside while the other guy's throwing like a left hook or a body shot or something. Oh, that was nice. Boom, boom. Left uppercut. Now Dorin right here, his upper body is squared, but his feet are kind of more in a bladed stance. Not the most, but they are. They're not side by side like we've seen him do in other parts of the fight. But let's see. I'll just watch this at full speed. Watch out for the left uppercut. Nice left uppercut. Nice punch. So Dorin is coming in pretty squared up. Time. Is he cut? Yeah, he's cut. Yeah, that's the same cut he had against Paul Spadafora. See, those punches had a little bit more oomph to him right there when he came back from the corner. Nice. Balbi's doing good work here. And the same thing as we saw when I forgot that word, what Dorin did, or what his opponent was doing, and then what Dorin did. So his opponent's trying to keep him at long range right here. Bang, long range punches, keeping him back. And then Dorin times one of them and comes back with the hook. So Dorin's done that pretty. So both fighters are doing a good thing right here. His opponent, Balbi, is trying to keep him away with long punches and a lot of them. But against Dorin is waiting for that one punch to slip and counter you and take away all of the work that you've done. So let's watch this again. So a left, a right, a left, all long range punches. Left, and then you see he slips that one, and then bang. So we've seen that happen twice now, where Dorin kind of takes long punches but times them and then slips and then comes back with a left hook. Pretty good right there. And that's the round. I can't believe I forgot the word. 170 to 113. Thrown, landed. So with Dorin, it's hard for the judges to kind of really see what he's doing because, like I said, he does small movements and his punches are so short. But he does land these big punches like that where it kind of wins him the round, I would say. But he did get caught with a flashy punch right here with a left uppercut and kind of buckled a tiny bit, but still pushed through. Nice left hook by Balbi. Nice left uppercut by Dorin. Nice quick hands. I'm gonna have to watch Balbi's fight another guy because he looks pretty good. See right there when Balbi throws his long punches, Dorin is good at slipping those. Like right there. And come back. This reminds me kind of Marlon Starling. I forgot how to say his name too. He would kind of put both hands up. He was known to keep both hands up and kind of slip side to side and get in with some punches. So this is kind of reminding me of Marlon Starling. Of how Dorin's slipping the punches with his hands up. You don't really see too many guys slip with their hands up, especially in the pros, mostly in the amateurs. See right there how he gets under those punches, not very big movements, just nice and tight. Ooh, get low, get the hair brushed, and then come back with something. Is that a low blow right there? Oh no, he's complaining about a low blow. He's kind of slapped him with the right hand right there. There's that short jab again. Bang. Nice quick hands by Dorin. The pressure, the rounds, if you're going to give based on pressure, it is Dorin given the pressure, but his Balbi is doing pretty well. He is having his moments like right there where he is pushing him back and he's working a lot. Nice right hand. Very nice rolls, rolls under by Dorin. Very impressed by him. Looks like a nightmare to fight. Short, stocky, not much of an opening with his body because his elbows are covering, like short torso, short arms can get you on the inside pretty quick. Throws a lot of fast punches. Squared up, but does do a lot of things good. Doesn't feel like a very easy opponent to fight, especially if you throw long punches because he is going to take them and slip on the inside. Let's see what he does right here. He's gonna, boom. Steps over kind of in a southpaw stance, comes back with the left hand. I've talked about a lot of Mexican fighters doing that, especially when their opponent is on the ropes, but Dorin did that while he's in the middle of the ring. That was pretty nice. Nice left to the body, but he got countered to the head. Comes back. Now it's starting to be a war. Nice work. Very good. Nice long punches, but goes back and holds him on the inside. That's it for the 5th round. Okay, guys, sorry for the interruption. Back with round 6. Let's see what happens. Let's go. Dorin comes in. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. Let's pick it back up. What do we have right here? Dorin 46. So Letterman has Balbi winning. You could kind of see it, but not really. I think Dorin is the one still controlling the fight. He's definitely landing the most punches. I don't know. Balbi has definitely shown that he's good at responding to the the pressure and stuff, but I feel like Dorin is still controlling most of the fight. Let's see if what happens in the 6th round, middle of the fight. You can see Dorin grabbing onto that left arm with his right arm. There he gets on the inside pretty well. So Dorin isn't a guy you want to throw too many long punches at. You want to kind of feint in between and throw different types of punches. To see, he moves his head really good. It's kind of deceiving. He looks like a still target, but he really moves his head. He slips and gets under punches pretty well. So I don't know, it's dangerous to kind of just throw long punches. I want to see what happens in the later rounds. Nice left hook right there. You don't want to get greedy. That's the word I was looking for when I said I forgot the words. You don't want to get greedy against a guy like Dorin. If you're landing punches on the outside, land a couple or throw a couple. Then you got to feint. You got to throw a jab to the body. And then you got to move again. And then you could throw again. Alright? But you don't want to just stay in the same spot and throw long punches at Dorin because he is going to time you for the slip. Greedy was the word I was looking for. I'm sorry I forgot that word. The opposite of generous. That's what I meant. See, Dorin tried to do the same thing right there. Take a couple long punches on the guard and then come back with his left hook. There, they're just grabbing each other. Let's see. It's the 6th round. I want to see who kind of takes the 6th round. Nice work by Dorin. Now, there's a lot more grabbing happening from Dorin. So I'm not sure. This doesn't look too good for him. I'm giving this round more to Balbi just off of not wanting to hold on. See right there, kind of Dorin is doing most of the holding of the left arm of Balbi. Like right there, he's holding him more. That's not a good sign when a guy is trying to hold a lot. So what he did right here, actually, Balbi, was, this is what I was talking about. So he threw a couple long punches, bang, 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 and then he stepped away from him. He didn't get greedy throwing 10 punches at the same time when he could have, like he did in the earlier rounds where he got countered with that left hook, so that was a really good adjustment. He throws a couple long punches, bang, 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 step away from him, and make Dorin work again to get closer time and slip. So he's not getting greedy right now, which I like. He's using his brain. He's thinking, Balbi. I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. Oh, that was a nice little maneuver to get under that left arm. There we got, yeah, a lot more holding in the 6th round. Now Dorin is starting to look a little bit more human, holding on and stuff. In the first couple rounds, he looked a little bit more robotic, where things didn't affect him. He might be slowing down, but I'm not sure. Let's see what happens later on. Working. See, he's holding. He's putting his arm over his opponent's left arm, and he's the one that needs a little break. I'm kind of giving this round more to Balbi in this round for sure. I don't think this is Dorin's round. Okay, guys, that was the 6th round. Like you know, what I always do is first half of the round is part 1, second half is part 2. A lot of things from this fight. First of all, it looks a little bit messy if you're just watching and you're seeing all the output, but there's a lot of things being done. Dorin taking punches on the guard and countering. He's not throwing a lot of power in every punch. He's throwing more arm punches. It puts his output. It improves his output, and it improves his accuracy. And he's landed a lot of punches. Balbi, how he's reacting to the pressure. He's not folding. He's finding ways. He's throwing more long range. He's working the inside with the uppercuts pretty well. And he's figuring out some openings on Dorin. Dorin is a pressure fighter that deceivingly moves his head. He looks like he just stands up tall, but then he moves, he slips, he rolls under pretty well. What else? Both fighters have found new angles, but Dorin seems to find a little bit more angles than his opponent. Dorin also stands a little bit more square, and it kind of suffers from doing that sometimes, but sometimes it pays him good. Balbi was getting a little bit greedy when he was throwing the long punches, but then right as we saw in the last round, he stopped being greedy. He threw his long punches and moved back. So a lot of things to pick up from this fight. I'm glad I picked this fight actually, and you know what's coming next, part 2. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time, and bye.